This is the Rich Report, bringing you the richest content across entertainment. My name is Sean Clark, aka the Camden Clark. All right, you know what? Hold on. And enough with the professional intro. What was that? What was that? The English Premier League returned today. So did Arsenal as they took on Manchester City. As you can see, I am an Arsenal fan. And for the sake of all professionalism and objectivity, what was that? As an Arsenal fan, I have dealt with almost nothing but pain and suffering. This team is a joke. This team constantly underachieves. This team puts no effort or urgency into their games the last few years. So coming into this matchup at the Etihad Stadium, without fans, of course, against second place in the Premier League, Manchester City, I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I was expecting maybe a couple decent performances. Maybe we would get one goal, maybe two, but I know we would give up at least two or three. So I wasn't expecting too much. I figured they would lose, but you know what? I thought they would at least make it competitive. That's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. David Luiz, Brazilian center back, been bouncing around various teams, including being at Chelsea the last few years. Apparently, in this game, he wanted to imitate a Chelsea player in Arsenal because he sabotaged his entire game for Arsenal. In the first half, Bernd Leno made 4 excellent saves and kept Arsenal in the game. At that point, there was hope for a close game. David Luiz is subbed on in the 24th minute. And what happens after that? Pure disaster. At the 45th minute in the first half, so right before stoppage time going into the half, David Luiz misjudges a pass from Kevin De Bruyne, bounces off of him right into the lap of Raheem Sterling, who puts it away, 1-0 Manchester City. At this point, Arsenal was actually playing a decent game. While Man City had a lot more chances, at least Arsenal was hanging in the game. At this point, almost all hope was completely shattered. But did you think it ended there? No, it didn't. At the start of the second half, David Luiz, he fouls Riyad Mahrez in the penalty box. So guess what? Kevin De Bruyne was sent to the penalty line and converted a PK to give Man City a 2-0 lead. But that's not the worst part, though. Okay, they're down 2-0. Maybe they can get a goal back. No, David Luiz gets sent off for a red card. It wasn't bad enough that he gave up a goal in the first half. It wasn't bad enough that he gave up a PK and made it 2-0. It wasn't bad enough that both of the goals were his fault. It doesn't stop there. He gets sent off, putting Arsenal a man down, basically eliminating all hope for the match the rest of the way. I didn't pay that much close attention to the rest of the match. It was over. Everyone knew it was over. While everyone was spending the rest of the game laughing at Arsenal, I sat down, laying on my couch, to really reflect a bit on what I saw. And I've come up with a lot of conclusions. Mikel Arteta has a lot of work to do, and I have trust in him. But for right now, Arsenal cannot have success in the future with the team they have now. They have nothing but mediocre players, players who choke in big moments, and 2 good players, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Bernd Leno, which, by the way, both of them came from the Bundesliga. Almost every team in the Bundesliga is more competent than Arsenal right now. Even Werder Bremen, who's about to get relegated. At least they put up a fight against Bayern Munich. It's more fight than Arsenal's had in the last few years. The only thing in the last few years that I've seen Arsenal do well was win the FA Cup in 2017. That's it. It's been nothing but a disaster since. And to be frank with you, I'm really upset about this. To use professional language, I'm upset. Arsenal is supposed to be the main club in London. Back in the mid-2000s, they and Manchester United were the 2 best teams in Europe in England, along with Chelsea. Those are the top 3 teams. Arsenal is the only team in the modern Premier League era to go the entire season without losing a game. Arsenal also went to the Champions League 19 years in a row. 19 years in a row. But that streak is about to be 4 in a row without a Champions League appearance. And this season, they may not even qualify for the Europa League. Can't even do that. Oh yeah, by the way, Arsenal lost to Olympiacos in the Europa League this season. So they can't even do the Europa League right. I have said this for years. I don't see any passion with this Arsenal team. I don't see aggression. I don't see urgency. I don't see creativity. I don't see skill. I just see a bunch of players going through the motions. And maybe once in a while, it actually works out. Like I said at the beginning, I didn't have a ton of hope going into this. Arsenal's last game before COVID shut down operations for 3 months was Alexandre Lacazette scoring a game-winning goal in the 78th minute against West Ham. 1-0 victory going into the COVID shutdown. I was hoping that maybe they would build from that. No creativity, no passion, no urgency. If Arteta is going to make Arsenal great again, he's got to blow up the team. There's no way that Arteta can win with the players they have now. There's no way. There's no way. I just don't see it happening. There's too many players that are complacent. There are way too many players that, frankly, just aren't good enough. If our two best players from the Bundesliga, look, there's plenty of talent over there. But who would want to come to Arsenal? Doesn't have the most amount of money, not much passion. There's a lot of complacency in the ownership. Why would players want to come? It's as simple as that, really. Arsenal sits 9th in the Premier League. 9th. If Manchester City's Champions League band still holds the 8th place would get us into the Europa League, I don't care. Just so we can choke. It's just another platform for us to choke. There needs to be a serious culture change at Arsenal if things are going to change, because frankly, it's ridiculous. Oh, and by the way, what is David Luiz doing on this team? What is he doing on this team? Mid-30s. Does not have the best reputation. He's fought with management. He is part of the infamous image of Brazil's 7-1 loss to Germany in the semifinals of the 2014 World Cup. Why did Arsenal sign him on a one-year deal? What was that supposed to accomplish? Arsenal needs youth. They need it bigger. They need passion. David Luiz have any of that? My answer, no. It's very upsetting to see this. Bernd Leno and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang deserve much better than this. Speaking of Bernd Leno, last year in the Europa League final, Arsenal lost to Chelsea 4-1. If Arsenal wins that game, they would have headed to the Champions League. But no. They decided to play Peter Cech, 38-year-old goalkeeper, in his final game instead of Bernd Leno, who is a very good goalkeeper, one of the best in the Premier League. His 4 saves in the first half really reminded me, what was Arsenal thinking on that night in Baku? What were they thinking? It's very upsetting. Congratulations for Manchester City for scoring the first goals of Project Restart in the Premier League. Manchester City wins. And today it was announced that the Champions League is coming back, so Manchester City actually has a good chance to maybe get that elusive Champions League title. Arsenal doesn't deserve to be anywhere near that. You know what Manchester City has? They have good players. They have skill. They have creativity. They have urgency. I want to be like Manchester City. Well, except without the ban. Why can't Arsenal be like this? I don't understand it. Arsenal takes on Brighton and Hove Albion next. Will that go better? Possibly. Brighton is a mid-table team at best. Maybe Arsenal will get a win. Maybe they shouldn't win. Maybe they should just lose every game. Maybe then will the ownership and the managers actually do something to actually genuinely change things. Mediocrity is not going to change anything. Drastic results do. That's going to do it for this video on The Rich Report. I was Sean Clark, aka The Candid Clark. Thank you for listening to my rant of Arsenal's 3-0 loss to Manchester City today. I will see you next time.